It seems like it's been
Friday. Happy Friday, Nnamdi.
Happy Friday. Yeah, something that
good to see you on a Friday.
Yes, I know we had plans to interview one of our guests yesterday, but it didn't happen. Did we ever hear back from her?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. It's not showing up. Okay. Guys who got in touch with me, the guys from You Got Soul.
Really? What did they say?
Well, they started following. I think maybe because they saw my interview with Tim Kelly, and they just sent a message to say, "Look, man, we like what you do, and thanks for keeping R&B, for supporting R&B." And I was like, "Wow, told them that I've been following them since lockdown, and
Wow.
yeah, it's good to." And I said, "Hey, we do miss their Soulback podcast because I like the fact that they used to go through." The years and stuff like that. They'll get an album for from like '96. They'll go through the years and talk about music and stuff. So yeah, I told them I kind of missed. Hopefully they can get that back and going.
Yeah, I've noticed they've got a few. I think they've got some new members in, and they've gone a bit deeper into the '90s because they didn't really go that deep.
Okay.
On Instagram, I've noticed they have gone a lot deeper. I think they've got a few new members, which is good. It all adds up to what's going on, I guess, and educates people more about what came out back then. It's funny, I was watching Layla Hathaway. Do you remember Layla Hathaway? I was watching a video of her today. Heaven knows. Oh my! To say, I've heard some people say that Layla Hathaway never had any hits, and I'm like, did you ever listen to Heaven Knows? Did you ever listen to Baby Don't Cry? Did you ever listen to It's Something?
What did you make? What did you make of that? My old podcast. This was probably 3 years ago. I mean, what did you make of it?
It was like you say. You get you kind of end up getting people on who kind of everyone's got an opinion, but you got to know what you're talking about. And if you're talking about an artist where you don't know what they've done previously, and you don't realise that they did a few things that were quite big, then you come up sounding short. I'm choosing the words carefully here.
Yeah,
that's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, I think it was a way of being that kind of provocative type of audience, which I think if you saw the comments of that video, it got a lot of reaction. People weren't happy, like, how could you say this about Charlie and Layla Hathaway? And I had one or two artists who says, yeah, I think there's too much negativity there. We're not too sure about coming on. So yeah, but it was those. But I always wanted to have a space just to away from what I was doing, and I never used to promote that, like cross promote those videos across to Halftime Chat. I wanted it to be separate, but people do see it and stuff, so it did go out and stuff. Yeah, but so that was
in someone's opinion, if an artist says in their opinions had no hits and they can't remember any song that they've done, how can they be overrated then?
That's true.
It's a contradiction in itself.
Yeah.
But hey, I'll tell you what I found today in the record store, HMV, the 30th anniversary of Snoop Dogg, the debut album.
Was that at the was that at the are you saying that that was in the actual this is brand new, or that's a sort of
they've reissued his first album from the early 90s, and they've added the original track list because, again, from what I remember, the first 100,000 copies that came out had a track on it called, what was it called? G's Up, Hose Down, and that track got a lot of complaints. So the next run of CDs and vinyl didn't have that track on it, and that's the copy, the issue that most people got. So they've reissued it 30 years later with that original track list on. So you can now go out and get the at an affordable price with G's up, hoes down on it. What I don't understand is why they complain about that track when the whole album is full of profanity. It just doesn't make sense to me why that particular track. The whole album's outrageously profound, So
yeah. And then what do they say now? 30 years later, we're matured, so we don't mind them saying G's up, hoes down. It was.
I did check my vinyl actually. My original vinyl, it is the original album. It's one of the 100,000 copies. So I was very happy about that. So I've now got 2 CDs. I've got this new reissue, and I've got the other one without this track on.
But how many more songs are there? Any new songs other than just that one song?
No, it's just one track. I mean, it's the original. It is the original. What year did it come out? 93. It's the original 1993 track list that came on the first and initial pressing. So they just reissued it with you get a poster as well. People want posters. I don't know if you used to hang posters on your wall back as a teenager. I did.
No, I did. No, they wouldn't have lasted long. Okay, no, I did. Okay, but is that for collectors? You're not going to open it and play it?
Probably not. I mean, the thing was, I was in HMV today, and I normally pick 2 or 3 CDs up, but I wasn't happy with the stuff that come out today. I was like, oh, this is just.
It's today new music
I
day.
nearly didn't buy anything, and then I just saw this in the racks. I thought, I'll have this then. This will be my new music purchase today.
So it's today new music day? Well, because I used to know.
Yeah, mainly Fridays is like New Music Friday.
Okay.
So
okay.
All the new albums come out on that day, and singles as well.
Yeah, I should. We've got an HMV now in our town centre, so I'll probably go into it and just to browse and stuff.
Go in have a look in the R&B and hip hop section. Have a look in the soul and funk section. Have a look in the jazz section if they've got one. There's always some interesting stuff in there.
Yeah,
you might find a Blackstreet Greatest Hits CD in there or something like that.
But you wonder if they're going to. Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. You do wonder if they're going to keep.
What you don't. I mean, it's surprising what you don't see. You think you'd find a Bobby Brown CD in HMV, but there isn't any. It's all gone. No Bobby Brown. Anything. It's hard to find anything from the early 90s backwards. Now it's very hard.
It's strange because when I used to work at a record store in America, that you'd get the classics, whether it was a Bob Marley or I said Pink Floyd, Fleetwood Mac, all those, even the Who, they would stock everything.
In the rock and pop sections, you'll see the good, in the rock and pop section, you'll see all that.
Okay.
But if you go in like the R&B and soul section, it is quite. I don't know. There is in the classic soul and funk section. There is some of the classics in there. You got your Curtis Mayfields and things like that.
Hey, Aki, I didn't think you guys were gonna find us on this secretive place. But how you doing, Aki? Yeah. Okay. No. New music. I guess it's hard to imagine what new music is. Maybe I don't know. If Guy came out with a new album, I'd probably go buy it.
What about the Michael Jackson Thriller 40? Didn't that get you in the store to go and buy Thriller with all them unreleased tracks on it on the second CD?
Yes, I did get it. Yeah, we found you. Yeah, I did get that. Yeah, I did get that, but that was a while back. And I know.
Taylor Swift gets people in the shop. There's like 10 different versions of her album.
Yeah,
and she's got her own rack. She's got her own rack with all Taylor Swift stuff in. It's like, gee. But if it gets people in a record shop, then fair play.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's as I said, it's good that they're supporting music. I think There's an interview I did with Tim Kelly, and he turns to the camera to tell. He was like, "Look, Beyonce, I don't know why you've gone to do this country stuff. That you should be trailblazing R&B. That if you think about what Bruno Mars did and how he reconnected, that she has a much bigger impact, and we're not getting anything to that extent. We're not getting an R&B act like. I mean, Usher's album kind of came and disappeared. I mean, did you?
Possibly the only album this year that I actually took some time to listen to be quite honest.
Yeah, but have you really heard much of it? It's you're not here. You don't really
They've
see.
not followed through any singles, have they?
No.
Or videos.
Yeah.
I don't know why that is.
Yeah, it really hasn't done. It hasn't done. Yeah, it hasn't made much noise, which is disappointing because you do want the R&B albums and acts to really make some noise. Because when Bruno Mars, both his albums, the ones he did that was like this Throwback to New Jack Swing from the 90s, then the one he did that which is a throwback to the 70s, both made a big, when he did Silk Sonic, both made massive impacts, always on the radio, videos, and everyone was really vibing to it. So you can tell, even the Beyonce stuff, it's not really. I mean, it's almost as if it's just gone quiet. Yeah, Usher's independent, so he formed a label with L.A. Reid, and they're being distributed by a guy who formed a distributing company who used to work for Apple. No, he used to work. One of them worked for Apple, while the other worked for Arista. So they formed a digital distribution platform, and Usher and L.A. Reid formed a label that Usher is part of. I prefer New Music Mondays in the 90s. Was it New Music on Mondays? I think it was.
Yeah.
Okay. 90s, so that the record companies could get those songs into the charts. The following, those things were like $3.99. Yeah, I can't remember. I don't know why they moved it to Friday. Does it seem to make any difference on Fridays? Because if they release on
people now, the industry's actually starting to call it to go on Tuesdays, because they're saying that people just haven't got the time in the weekend to like consume all this music that's coming out. They're saying, so they want you to come out on a Tuesday, so you've had all week to consume the album before it, like you say, goes hits the whatever. I don't know whatever the charts are these days. Does anyone pay any attention to what streaming charts? I don't know if they do.
No. I mean, I was speaking to Tony Rich the other day, and he was saying, look, when people start talking about 10 million streams, that means really nothing. Back in those days, if you didn't go, he said in the 90s, if you didn't go platinum, if you went gold, so in the 80s and 70s, going gold was massive. Like, wow, you're going gold. But in the 90s, labels started to spend a lot more videos and promotion and marketing. So they needed you to go at least a platinum just to make sure you can recoup. And if you didn't go platinum, so he was saying that, there's a difference with a million people buying your record than when you sell 10 million streaming a song, because that's very much of I can just stream and listen to it and like, okay, I'm not really paying for that song. You're not working as hard as they used to back in those days, and to ship a million records, that sounds. I mean, you may think America, they've got all these people, but when you're competing with all these other people, that's a lot of work that you have to do to go platinum. Not to talk of then, when the Backstreet Boys and NSYNC and 98 Degrees, when they all came out, and Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera, they were going 10 million. They were going diamond. So the standards started to raise. So hence labels started to shift to that sort of market. And then when hip hop artists were also going, 3-5 million, that's when R&B just said, it was too much work, too much money and effort to promote you. And it's easier just to get these guys, hardly much investment on artist development. And we don't need to care if you sing really that well. You have an image that we can sell and market. and that's when it just seems like our quality of music just started to reduce. One thing that Tony Rich was saying is that he spent an entire year doing artist development before he came out in '96. So that is how to interview, how to do live performances, doing choreography, taking pictures. So you spend a whole year of artist development before they launch the album, because by the time the album comes up, you need to then sell yourself. And you think nowadays they can just see somebody off YouTube, off TikTok, IG or TikTok, and say, okay, let's put you out there. You've not really trained how to sing in front of people or any of that stuff. Your stagemanship, how to interview, how to present yourself, and it doesn't seem as if people care that much. So that's probably why we're suffering. So you talk about new music. I mean, have you even checked to see how many songs came out? Or is it just the ones that you enjoyed? The only one you picked up was a reissue of an album 30 years ago. There was nothing that came out new that you thought, let me give this a try.
There was a few things that I thought there might be something on this that I like, and there was this album by a guy called Swamp Dogg, who's done some like old classic soul, but it was very, it just wasn't soul. It was like swamp music, country swamp music.
Oh, like
yeah,
country.
I don't know. It's like playing his ukulele, and I thought it's not for me. This, so, not for me. Not for me. I thought I'll put the Swamp Dogg CD back down. Wasn't any new R&B out. There was a new rap album by a teenager. I think it's called Nico B. And the production's good, quite varied, jazzy, but the rapping is like not for me.
Wow.
Not for me at all. But I like the music, but I didn't like the rapping, unfortunately.
Are you still able to listen to the album at HMV where you go in and listen to all the tracks? Because I remember they used to be able to
I've got my headphones on, I've got my phone, I'm on YouTube playing through the tracks on the album.
Oh, okay.
But sometimes I can on a Friday morning, I can, before actually going the show, I can kind of listen to stuff online and go, yeah, I like that. I'll go in there. I'll go in and buy that, because most of the new albums are on YouTube anyway to listen to.
Okay. Okay. Oh, yeah. It's and I think that's the thing is.
I mean, I'm looking. My city has got in the city I'm in, right? I've got HMV. I've got FOP, which is like a subsidiary of HMV, and they do get some more specialist stuff in. Then I've got Piccadilly Records, which is even more specialist, but that's mainly new vinyl. And then I've got Vinyl Exchange, which sells used stuff, CDs and vinyl. So that's old stuff. So I've got 4 shops there that I can go in on a Friday and spend some money, which I'm lucky. If you're in this country, you live in London. If you live around near London, Birmingham, or Manchester, and you're into black music, then you've cracked it, because you've got plenty of shops to go to, and you can fill your boots. But if you're right out in the sticks somewhere,
I'm in Kent.
Cities,
I'm in Kent.
You've got to buy stuff online,
Yeah.
Struggling. You are really struggling. Or if you're in some small town in America, forget it. Forget it.
Yeah. I mean, I think, if do you have a favorite year that for music that
probably 1988.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know that one. I think that was. No, I don't. I
It's
thought
very
I
much
was
a crossover year for soul music, and it was soul going into New Jack, and then street soul. It was just a fantastic year. That great year.
I think from a lot of us, I think 93 and 93, 94. I think maybe 94 was probably, that's when you had the My Life album, you had the Crazy Sexy Cool.
Yeah, but I could argue that things
the 3
really
album
started to slow.
Pardon?
Really slow down. Really, I think things started to slow down.
Aki said 79. No, I wasn't asking when you were born, Aki. I was asking the favorite year when of music. Things started to slow down. No, yeah, I thought, because I think we got up to 96, and that's when it sort of pitted after 96. But we were still, because 96 was that whole Biggie Tupac. So hip hop was at its peak. R&B was waning slightly. It wasn't. It was being pushed down. But I think at 94, 93, 94, that kind of window that's when.
I think we had a great run up till about 96 for me.
Yeah. It was
Fantastic run. Every year, releases every week.
Yeah.
And then 97, there was still a lot of good stuff come out in 97, but like I've said on previous, I felt something changed. Like you could see a lot of the major labels had bailed out of R&B.
Yeah, they started slow. Yeah. Because think about because because I remember. Yeah, I remember that 94. You just, you're getting, if you get a Brandy, if you get a TLC, a Mary, Jodeci, and Boys to Men, and they were dominating the charts with the singles. It was just almost like
schedule. You could see like schedule of albums when they were coming out in that month.
Yeah.
There was like you look forward to that schedule. Now you don't even see that.
No,
I'm looking forward to the new Layla Hathaway album though. She's got a new album coming out very, very soon.
And I'll be honest, I've never heard her. I couldn't give you one album, but it always amazed me that people used to say, "Oh, she was probably one of their favorite singers and stuff."
I'll have to send you the video link to Heaven Knows. You'll love that record.
Not good about it. That would be it. But I think if you had to pick your 10 favorite albums, I know you've got a 10,285 albums, but if you were to try and think of your 10
for another podcast, Andy, I'd have to think about that one.
You have to go. So off the back of your head, you could have 3 or 4. Mine would always be the Bobby album, Make You Last Forever. I probably will throw Thriller in there. The Guy album will get in there.
Yeah, Thriller would be in there for me. The Guy album would definitely be in it.
Yeah, it's funny. I just listened to. So I was listening to Forever My Lady ahead of our Sunday show. Then I said, let me listen to the Diary of a Madman, and I noticed a drop off. It had the first maybe 6 songs that were good. Then the last 6 were like, wow, I just didn't like it at all. And I realized, the album was not a good follow up. And actually, they went down quickly. I mean, I have to be mindful.
It was a good follow up. It was strong. It was a strong follow up. Wasn't as like you say, probably as strong as the first album, but it has got some classics on that.
Yeah, no. As I said, the first half of that Diary of My Band were really good. Then the second part, I wouldn't even say not as good. I don't think if you listen to it now, it doesn't hold up as it probably would have. I said the first part, Cry for You and Feeling. There was some really good ones there. And then I can't remember. Then I'm listening to the My Life album, and what people were saying is, it was filled with remixes of samples, and he's like, actually, it was just an album of samples, and maybe financially didn't help the artist when you're sampling all those musical songs, but I guess there was something about the message from Mary that really resonates to people. But then as I mentioned, Crazy Sexy Cool, the first parts of those albums were great. But as I said, that's one of the things I do miss is being able to own a CD. Being able to own, you do it a lot, but for the rest of us who don't have CD players or vinyl players, it's kind of hard. As much as I love a CD, but where do I play it? I forgot my laptop doesn't even have a CD player. So back in the day, my laptop, I just put it in, listen to it, burn the music. In my car, I can just play it in there, or get home. I had a big stack of CD player stuff. I had the Sony CD player where you can load in. I think you can load in 8 CDs, and you can just have it alternate and stuff like that. But that's all gone. So now I have to listen. If I can't get it on my phone, I don't know how I listen to music. And I would even say, prior to doing this stuff, I stopped listening to music. I mean, I just didn't, I just sort of said, there's no point. I just stopped listening to music. But I'm glad I'm back into it because there's a lot of stuff that I hadn't listened to in a while or before. Like Troop, I hadn't really listened to their catalog. Or Father MC, I'd listened to some of his tracks, but not the full catalog. So being able to do that now, it's like, wow, I didn't realize how much was out there. And I remember when you said, "Can we do a top 10 Father MC?" I'm like, "What? I can give you only 5 songs." And then we're doing it, and you see me saying, "Yeah, yes, I love it," and I was just naming tracks, deep cuts of the album, like I was a connoisseur.
After 2 weeks. Nnamdi, the new Father MC connoisseur.
Oh goodness, yeah. I mean, did you ever look at? So I came talking about some of the '79, like Cool and the Gang, Ladies' Night, and the We Are Family Sisters stuff. I don't. I think there's something about the '70s that it just reminds me of my parents running it, and I'm just a kid going to these parties.
Yeah, but it's a great. It's a great era for music. The soul and funk. Oh, incredible.
Yeah. But when I think of he mentioned Ladies' Night and We're Family and all that stuff. It really reminds me of some disco. So I remember Donna Summer was big. I remember in '82, Donna Summer, Musical Youth. I remember. So I've been in Britain back in the '80s, early '80s, and it was Donna Summer was always massive. Boney M, Hot Chocolate. So that type of stuff that I remember. It was I remember the cowboy sound. My dad had hundreds and hundreds of vinyls. He had all Fela. He had all the Bob Marley. He had all those albums. So he was really into.
What happened to them all then? What happened to them all?
So he took them back to Nigeria, but no,
if he's got original, if the original, some of them original Fela albums are worth a lot of money.
Yeah, I need to. Well, when I get back tonight, I think if I get to go travel to Nigeria, because I think I saw them recently. I don't know. I think I saw when I went because he passed away during COVID. And I went back to Nigeria, and I think I saw them. But I need to take a look and see. But most of the stuff I remember is because we lived in Germany, and he just had all this stuff. So I got into Bob Marley. He had every album. He had as I said, Fela.
Did he have any James Brown?
No, I don't think I remember James Brown in there. No, a lot of it was when I talk about
James Brown albums as well.
Yeah, like Hot Chocolate. I remember those ones, and all those stuff of all those '70s soul. So it wasn't like the more popular ones and stuff like that. And I just remember it's strange. If I got into music, I could always. This would have been easily one of my. I guess talking about my dad, his vinyl collection, and how that inspired me. But no, I think Bob Marley was the one because he had all of that stuff and he had Fela 80. He bought that. Yeah. So if I go back to Nigeria, I need to look and see. Did you ever get into Fela?
I'll show you in me. My box set, my Fela box set is up there somewhere.
Wow.
He did about 70. There's about 70 albums in a box set up there. The thing is, all them albums, they're only like 4 tracks. They'd only be like 4 tracks on an album because they're all like 20 minutes long.
Yeah, with the instrumentals, then he'll do that for a while. The one that really touched me because when I was in boarding school in Nigeria, Fela became really popular because he was still alive when I was in Nigeria and in boarding school, and especially when the military took over the government. So we'd all have listened to Fela Rebellion, Unknown Soldier. If you ever listen to that one, he talks about how the army came into raided his house and they threw his mother out of the balcony. She died, and then he just goes through the whole thing, and oh goodness. Then Beast of No Nation. You say, how can you have a United Nation and you have Iran and USA and the Indian? It's supposed to be United Nation, where you have enemies that don't like each other sitting in the table. That what kind of united is that? That they all, those, yeah, it's because his mother was a doctor. His other two brothers were well known. And one was the Minister of Health, and one was the Chief Medical Officer at our biggest hospital. And he was supposed to get into medicine, but he just turned into music. He says George Clinton covered a Fela song, Nubian Nut. I mean, yeah, I think those of us, because I lived in Nigeria to go to boarding secondary school, you didn't realize how big he was internationally because you just knew him as your local kind of hero and stuff like that. But yeah, Big Mike, welcome. We had Old School Flavor and Akin who joined through.
How do you all know? Well, how did they find out we're all going live? It's live. How did they found out? Big Mike.
Yeah.
Told anybody.
No, I almost just told you recently.
Yeah. Put my light on. I'm getting dark. Hold on.
It's getting dark, isn't it?
Yeah. It's getting darker here.
But hey, guys, yeah. So Stevie and I were just we hadn't chatted. Okay, you got your light on. We hadn't chatted in a while, so we just wanted to come on. And we had nothing, no agenda, nothing, because Sunday we're doing our Jodeci top 10 and stuff like that. So we just wanted to be able to catch up, and especially on music, and see what's been happening. Yes, Stevie posted a video on Instagram a while back, complaining to Janet Jackson for how much she. Oh, you came up on my notification. Okay. He was complaining.
It was a pop-up video. Pop-up. I was complaining about the price tickets of Janet Jackson. I was saying to Janet, do you really need all this money? Fans want to meet you, but you're charging us £460 to meet you. £460, I said. What's she going to do with all that money? She needs all that money,
Yeah. But I don't know if I'm going to try and take off my virtual background and see what difference it makes. No, I don't know if she needs them. I don't think she needs the money. I just think it's generally the promoters. They're the ones who are charging it for the meet and greet and everything, and I don't think she has a say. But I almost think that the more they charge to so I don't think she has a say. But you've seen her? Have you seen her before?
Yes.
Like
yeah.
Okay.
The Rhythm Nation tour in 1990? I went to Birmingham, to see that. It was fantastic. Obviously, Janet in her prime. It's great.
Yeah. Like you said, Janet has a large entourage and she likes to be in control. No, I don't. The only concert that if you guys remember, okay, I bought tickets. The missus is dragging me along to see Janet. Conflicts for dinner.
This is what happens, right? You hand over £450, right? You get ushered into a room. You stand next to Janet. You go like this, like that. Shake her hand, and then you're ushered away, and that's it. That is it. And you've got that moment for £450 on your phone. That is, it doesn't even last 10 seconds. 10 seconds, and you're ushered away.
You know what is funny is that people say, "Yeah, it was great seeing you again, Janet," and they'll put a picture like, "Yeah,
makes
You know, sometimes they start, you know, unlike Chris Brown that does goes all the
or
way.
check this out. If it's Michael Jackson, some of them before they fainted. They've already fainted before they get to him, so they don't even get the picture with him.
You know, I probably would have, because I was supposed to go to This Is It tour. I bought the tickets for myself, my wife, and my younger brother because we were all massive Michael fans. And I was like, oh goodness, you know, when it went on sale, I think I tried to buy it the very first day because I didn't think he'll make it through the others. Unfortunately, I got to show 27 or something like that. Couldn't wait. I mean, that was my first time ever meeting Michael because when I moved to America in '92. By that time, he was touring around Europe for the Dangerous. He was supposed to bring his tour back to the US. Then the whole scandal happened. Then he cut the tour short, the Dangerous tour. And then after that, he never toured the US again because of the whole, he never toured the US again. So by the time I moved to the UK around 2003, it's when he came out with, I think he had already cut Invincible. And then because he didn't get the backing of his label, you know, he was like, you know, I can't do a tour of that. And then hence 3 years later, This tour comes out. And I'm like, finally, I've always wanted to see Michael just the once. And doesn't matter how far away we are, it was the proudest moment. And then when he passed, it was like, oh goodness. Yeah, so that's yeah. So greatest living artist to pass away, but never again to see him live or at any time. So that really hit me hard, and I didn't mind paying whatever it was for that. But yeah, it was a shame. But that was probably the only artist that I probably, if I had the chance to buy the backstage pass, I probably would do that because in I think 97, I graduated from university and went to Disney in Florida. And I remember going to, you know, this is their biggest park, and you go around, you do all the rides. And at the end of the day, I said, I've not met Mickey Mouse. And I didn't feel as if I'd been to Disney because I'd never seen Mickey Mouse. Then at the end of the night, they said, no, Mickey's over there. I'm telling you, I'll show you the picture of me standing next to Mickey Mouse. I'm beaming as if I've just seen the King of Kings. Or something. I was just like, God, goodness, this is Mickey. Well, I was 20 something. I was just finishing university. I was like, wow, Mickey Mouse. You know, I will find the picture and I'll send it to you because I can still see the grin on my face. Just see. So can you imagine if I'd seen Michael? You know,
Listen, I'm still sad that I never got onto Sesame Street. So about Mickey Mouse, I never got to meet Big Bird. Right? And the Cookie Monster, and you know, and the Grouch. And,
no, but Mickey was the guy. Mickey was the guy. So yeah, to think, so I could still. So yeah, hence if I don't think I've been excited by any other. Yeah, so Michael, that's what I'm just saying. If I could do that for Mickey Mouse in '97, imagine if I'd just seen Michael. You know, I don't think because Tammy Lucas, when she said she met Michael, she said she just stood there. And then she couldn't ask him for it. She didn't take a picture. She was just in shock. There was a guy, Fanatic. I don't know if you know Fanatic. He's the one that he did some production. Hey, what did he do? He did.
He did loads of stuff.
He did, yeah, but he did stuff for Blackstreet. But he did the Heaven Can Wait for Michael. And he said that when he was standing in front of Michael, because he's always said that he wanted the track for Michael. Here he is, stands right in front of Michael Jackson. And Michael was saying, hey, nice meeting you. I really love the track. And he said all he had was, wah, like Charlie Brown. Wah, wah, wah. He was just like, this is what he could have, didn't matter what he was saying. It was like, wow. You know, he was just like, you know, and when you hear stories of people who've met him, artists, saying how starstruck they were just seeing him and just how like, wow. I might be like that with Teddy, you know, because I've always admired Teddy for such a long time since the 80s. So to actually see him and have that conversation with him, that would just be something. That would just be something. Does Stevie or Nnamdi have Static? I'm Ready by James Brown production.
Yeah, by James. Yeah, I remember that album. I've got that somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Full Force produced James Brown in about, is it 1988? I think, yeah, it was 1988. A
Yeah.
lot of
Yeah.
it was Full Force just reusing old James Brown samples and adding a bit of a lately bass, and it did work, but you compare it to like proper real James Brown stuff from the 70s,
Mm.
you know,
And I know when I interviewed Bow-Legged Lou,
Payback and all that stuff, Motherload album, and
the one I remember is "I'm Real." I'm the real king of funk, and there ain't nobody out there.
but most people know James Brown for Living in America. That's probably one of his worst records. That's
Yeah,
the one
but
they know.
that was
Probably track they know.
it was because it was
A
on
Man's World
Rocky.
or Living in America.
It was on Rocky. I think it was guys.
Rocky
Correct me if I'm
4,
wrong.
Rocky 4.
Was it Rocky 4? Okay, I can't.
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
it was in the Rocky soundtrack.
Yeah, Living in
Yeah,
America.
but I remember that. But I think I'm real. I remember that was a I actually liked that. I think I was still in Nigeria when that came out. Yeah, I think I think the difference is that he didn't. Did he need? I mean, it's amazing. He didn't really need to come out with another album. He just could tour and stuff. But I remember that
It's
living
funny
in
because
America.
when I went over to the year I went over to the States, was it 2007 or 8? I was going to Connecticut, and he was playing. He was due to play in one of the towns that I went to in Connecticut, and he passed away.
Are you kidding me? Were you gonna go see him?
But I thought, well, why not? I'm all this way. Well, it's a chance I could see James Brown, but he passed away. Like you with
Wow.
Michael Jackson, just nearly, you just missed out.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. He died, I think, a month before the show was to start. Now, would I have ever thought about? I've seen. I think the only person I probably would have loved to see live is Luther Vandross, just to be able to hear that voice.
Going back, I used to go. This Janet Jackson. This is probably the last time you'll get to see Janet Jackson if you've not seen her. I think this will be it, mate. You should consider going.
Um, no, I think I don't know. No, I'm gonna hold out for an interview first, but I don't know. I don't.
The interview, you won't get an interview with Janet Jackson.
Hey, stranger things will happen. But
True.
I'm.
I shouldn't say that, but it'd be highly unlikely, mate. She rarely does interviews, does she? Rarely does.
No,
Any
she does stuff. Yeah, I mean she does stuff. But I was gonna say that I don't know. I've got the last one I've gone to these summer concerts before, and I get disappointed with because when you see unlike before we didn't get as many videos or clips of people who went and to concerts. So even the New Edition Any Heartbreak, or not Any Heartbreak, or the what's that comeback album they had? The one that all six of them were on. I can't remember what the name of the album was. It came out in '96.
Oh yeah. I know.
Home Again tour. So I was there, but if I see videos of it, it looks very grainy. It just you can't even make out. So it's almost like. But nowadays, the way people record the performance, it's almost as if you were really there. You can see them. So you can see what the whole set looks like. Everyone has their phone, and so it's like, okay. I mean,
It spoils it. It does spoil it.
it does spoil it. So now I have to think of. I've seen a lot of Janet footage of her doing her routines and stuff like that, singing a few songs here, and it doesn't feel as if I'm going to see or experience anything more unless I go to a concert where somebody's vocally are really entertaining me. So I'm hearing Adele because you're really hearing the voice. So it's not about this flashy lights and all these dance moves and like it's just hearing her voice and the music. So in a way, that's a very different experience that I probably am more accustomed to wanting to hear more. So because when I went to these R&B concerts just a couple of months ago, it was artists singing, backing music, little routines there. It just didn't feel as if like I'm sitting there saying, "Okay, is this it?" So I think I'm at a stage where I really want some vocals. I want a live band. I really want to be entertained. So I'm sure You know,
Well,
there's a guy.
like you say, if you're gonna pay, considering the prices of these concert tickets now, then you want your value for your money, because it's very, very expensive.
Yeah, but even if it's free, so even if it's free, for me to go down to Wembley to go see the R&B Block Party tour show, I had free tickets to go in. All I need to do is get there and park. But it was a whole It was goodness. It was a whole journey, and it wasn't. I didn't. I wasn't. I mean, the best part of it was I met the guys backstage. Whether it was Blackstreet or who else? Mila from 702, or the guys from Dru Hill, or seeing all these guys, or even the ladies of Jade, seeing everyone backstage. Okay, that was good. That was like, okay, yeah, we've been talking on video, and now we're seeing each other. But the show itself, I wasn't blown away. Like, wow, look at the one. Like, I wasn't just singing and stuff like that, because I was like, yeah, it wasn't as good as when you guys were in the 90s, because you had a band and you really were trying to sell your records, an album. Now it's like, I almost feel as if, an Elvis tribute act, when Elvis had to do his Vegas stuff, and they just wheeled him out there, and he just singing a few songs in his shiny suit. It's like, okay, I'll see you guys, and they wheel him out. That's how it comes across. Like, you come in, we're singing for the money, and then we're going. Back in the 90s, it's like, okay, we've got this album. We need to really make a massive difference. We need to push the album. We need to push our songs. And, they were really into it. And we're seeing them, we're seeing the videos. And it felt like, okay, this is an experience. It doesn't get, I don't feel the same way. And I won't say it's my age. I just guess it's just my sort of feeling towards music. I mean, what's the last show you went to? Because you're buying all the CDs and albums. What was the last one you went to?
Oh gosh, I gotta think. Yeah, a while back. I think it might have been. Was it Charlie Wilson? Might have been Charlie Wilson.
Well, how long ago was that?
That's what I mean. A few years back.
Well, you took a few. Are you talking about 2 years, 3 years post pandemic, before pandemic?
Charlie Wilson
went before lockdown
to London.
Oh,
yeah, it was before lockdown.
So we're talking more than 5 years.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Or 6.
I'm trying to think. I normally got the Band on the Wall in Manchester. I'm trying to think the last gig I went to, Band on the Wall. Might have been a local music night or something, but probably Charlie Wilson.
Yeah. And you're still going to go see Janet?
I don't want to go to the Manchester one. She's on in London. I don't know why I fancy the one in London.
Okay.
September.
It sounds like one of those things where I'll go to the one that makes it easy to say, yeah, I couldn't get you down, the trains were on strike, or couldn't get a hotel. So when you could just walk to the venue. Were you literally trying to go?
I regret not seeing. I'd love to see Madonna. I'd love to see Madonna in the 80s live. Madonna and Prince, obviously, but Madonna again is touring, isn't she? She is touring.
Has she come to? I thought she'd come to the UK.
I thought she probably has. I probably missed it.
Yeah. I probably, if you tell me about the acts, Mike would have always been number one. I will be honest, I might have picked Madonna because of her, because just her songs, her music. She was an icon, global. Pre-erotica. So that Madonna, pre-erotica, I probably would have wanted to go see her. Then would have Prince. I probably would have struggled to see Prince because I wasn't into his funk, the whole funk stuff. I just never got into that. That's why I didn't like the time. That type of music really doesn't appeal to me, like funk and all that kind of stuff. So I probably would have. That's the Holiday Madonna, that kind of uplifting stuff. Would I have wanted to see Stevie? Because he's a living legend, maybe so. But I don't know a lot of his songs. The songs I really knew are the ones that were crossed over pop songs. the ones.
What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on because festivals have taken over, haven't they? Summer festivals where you're getting like 100 acts on over a weekend. I just can't bring myself to go to one. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, no, no.
I feel like I don't feel. It seems to be aimed at a very 18 to 30 audience for me. That.
Yeah, festivals. Are we talking about, like, I know that Sister Sledge are doing some festival are out there doing festivals. I know that yeah, you normally get those type of things. I don't know if I would be really into. I mean, because I have a young family, yes, so they will be up to, going around and seeing the different acts and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, we do have the festivals around, but no, just not the same, just not the same. But as I said, I've John B's coming to to the
Wow.
UK in July. He's coming in July. He's playing at the Jazz Cafe. Those have been sold out. But I'm coming to see him. So there's a group called Room 187 who do parties and do events, and so they reached out to me to see if I can reach out to John B about trying to get him while he was in London to do an extra show for them, and they made it happen. So so I'm going to go see that. That's on the 7th of July.
Have you got as guests? You got us both on the guest list then, Nnamdi?
Yes. Are you going to be able to come down? Because if you come,
when is it?
Sunday the 7th of July.
We'll have to talk about that off air.
Yeah. If you come down, yeah. So we talk about. So he's going to be out there. He's touring a lot. He's touring a lot. But he plays live. He gets a band. He plays with his keyboard. He does a lot. So it would be it'd be interesting to be able to see. What's it? Maybe guys bring a New Jack Swing revival like they did in a Motown day. A review. Goodness, that would be getting the acts on a problem. It's getting a promoter who would want to put on a show. A lot of these acts that I interview, they keep asking me, "Hey, can you get us Can you get it? Yeah. Oh, have you attended Room 187, Mike? Okay. Yeah. So those are the guys who. So what these guys Room 187, they do. It seems as if what they do is they get a venue, and they do like karaoke. So people are singing, staging from 2000s. People. They do quizzes like who sang. Part-time lover. Then you have boys against girls, and so it just feels that. And these are younger generation people who weren't old enough when the 90s was happening, but it feels as if they're just into that. So it's good that they're just keeping R&B going and stuff like that. As I said, I don't live in London anymore, so if I did, I would have been going to that and stuff. But all these artists, they keep saying, we can come down, we can do shows, just get a promoter. And that's the one thing we don't have is connections with promoters who are willing to put on these shows. I think back in the day, you guys used to have your New Jack Swing connection and stuff.
Yeah, it was with the NGS3 days. It was heading that way. It was kind of heading that way.
To be able to do shows and stuff.
Well, it went from a website into parties, and then there was talk of like obviously. The next one would be like a proper gig, but he never really got to that stage. But he did get to the parties stage, which I did attend a few in the beginnings of it. Yeah,
yeah.
Didn't.
But it's strange though. People do like the DJ. So if you're a DJ and you're just playing all these classics, people seem to prefer that. Than sometimes getting the artists singing up there and stuff. They just seem to enjoy that sort of party vibe. So so I guess would I ever do that? Would I ever get to a point of trying to do a New Jack halftime chat or New Jack Swing podcast sort of party vibe. That would be
like a party night, and invite all the
the communities. So people like Big Mike's and Oscar Flavor and Akin who are in London and stuff, and anyone else that's around that wants to come on down. That would be something to be. Yeah, maybe so. If I could start thinking about 2025, trying to do something, get
like I say, just hire a venue for the evening, get a few DJs on that play New Jack Swing, and then invite, maybe everyone comes down, pays £5 to get in, because obviously you're paying for the cost of the venue and the DJs.
But also getting, I can imagine a few artists flying down to come in and just support. As long as you just say, look, I'll just pay for your plane ticket and your hotel, come on down and support. Especially because what Room 187 did is that they knew John B was around in a block of time, so it made sense to say, well, you're already coming in down. Let's just might as well piggyback on that instead of having to get you all down. So, yeah, I mean, I get stuff that I could. That I might think. Well, we might think about, since you've had that background and experience, you can get involved with it, right?
Yeah, it's someone can talk about. I mean, we don't even need to fly US acts over. What about there's plenty of UK acts that you could put on? They don't need to. They're in London. We're in London now.
Yeah. Okay. Who do you think about? I mean,
you got artists. I don't know who's around. You got Donny, Loose Ends. All these people are still around doing stuff, bits and bobs, aren't they?
Okay.
Have you thought of that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be something to think about. Yeah, I think if you don't plan it, you won't get to. You don't see it. So it'd be good to start to plan it and think about it and come up with different ideas and things like that.
You just interviewed Terry Walker.
Yeah.
There you go. Yes. There's another name for it, Terry Walker.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys, Big Mike, Akin, do you guys, Oscar, do you guys know Terry Walker? That would definitely be someone who will definitely be up for a beautiful new album as well. Yes, anyway, it's so what I notice is if I've taken away my background, and I think it's clearer.
Now we realise you've been broadcasting from a prison all this time, Andy. I didn't know
you need security and a sound engineer plus crew and equipment. I thought Akin, you were volunteering to do that. He says you would need security and a sound engineer.
Well, if you hire the venue will have it will probably have a sound system in the venue and their own security. That's what you're paying for.
Yeah,
you're paying for all that. You're probably paying, so they take care of all that. So all you're doing is putting your DJs in, and you're bringing your crowd in.
Yeah.
But it's probably what'll happen is 30 people turn up. It's probably the like 30 people. You'll lose a load of money, but you'll have a great time. You probably lose about $1,000. You'll lose about $1,000, but you'll have a great time.
Yeah. If I won the lottery, I thought about doing a halftime chat revival, and I would. So there are two types of guests that I would have thought to bring down. The guest that would thrive off a live band. I know Karen White would thrive off of a live band. El DeBarge, he would perform with a live band. I think Brownstone would do well with a live band, just because vocally that's their vocal part.
It's going to cost huge costs, all that, though, wouldn't it?
Yeah, if I won a lottery, it wouldn't be. Yeah. So you wouldn't even care about the. You're not really caring about the breaking even and stuff like that. Brownstone. Who else would do a band that I've
we need to find.
I'll get Chucky Booker to be the music director, so he can.
It's got to be one of these rich Saudis who like music. We've got to find one of these rich Saudis who've got a who want to invest, like they're investing in boxing and sports.
Yeah.
One of these Saudis has got a huge collection of black music, and wants to get into putting events on.
Yeah, I mean, you just never know, because people have so much money they're looking to spend. I mean, the guys who are investing in boxing are not really looking to make a profit. They're just looking to bring up some credibility and stuff like that. So there are people that are not going to do it for, they're not in it for the money. Majority of promoters are, but to be able to do that would definitely be a good thing. Yes. Anyway, so guys, we're grateful that you've tracked us down. This was, as I said, this is a part of what I was doing is I've been having issues with my broadcast, and so
Your broadband.
It's whether it's my broadband, whether it's my laptop, and so when I do go do these live interviews, my stuff isn't clear. So I've seen now that I've taken my virtual background off, it seems to have cleared up, and I'm watching myself at Stevie as I'm doing this just to test it out, so I can see actually there was an issue with when I use my background.
So you've gone very clear now. For the first time this evening, you've gone very clear.
And I took the background, the virtual background off. So I need to keep working on that. What I might do on Sunday is I'll use my other laptop and see if it makes a difference as well. Or I want to see if it's the settings in this. But it was that's why we did this, and I didn't really push you to promote it. So it was really something to help out. Just as we wrap up, what are your thoughts on Keith Andis? We both did the interview. I think it's been out for the last 2 weeks. I think it wraps up today. Then the whole thing comes out on Monday. But what do you remember about Keith? And
what a very humble, lovely human being he is, and how he's quite prepared to just tell us whatever we asked him. He just lovely guy, And I didn't. There was so much that he'd done that I didn't realise. I knew what he'd done in the 90s, but I didn't know all that stuff he was talking about with Cameo and Tom Brown, and that just blew my head away. I just did not know all that.
Well, I'm glad you knew the names, because he was mentioning names, and I was like, oh, yeah. And then you were like, oh, yeah. I was like, okay, Stevie, at least Stevie knows it, because
he was talking about a guy called Gavin Christopher.
Yeah.
And I never, the reason I know about Gavin Christopher is like, go back to, I was telling you the other day about my best friend that I've not spoken to for a while, who was a DJ. I met him in a record shop, and when I was a teenager, he was in clubs, he was on the radio, and he had a vast knowledge of black music, and he took me under his wing, and he taught me a lot about music, and he took me around record shops. But I remember he took me in this warehouse one day that it was just full of like deleted vinyl from the 80s and 70s, and he's just putting albums. They're all like 99 pence. Buy that, Steve. And I didn't even know. My arms were piling up, and I remember him going, Gavin Christopher, buy that, Steve. One step. That's how I remember. So when he brought that name up,
okay,
when he went, yeah, I did Gavin Christopher. Do you remember Gavin Christopher? One step. And I'm like, oh yeah, I do remember. Bought it for 99p in Power Cuts in Manchester in about 1991.
Wow.
But even though it come out in about 1986. So yeah. So there you go.
Mind Over Matter says, was Steve an engineer back in the day?
I don't remember the 79 album. I know the 86 album with one step closer on it.
Yeah. So Mind Over Matter says, were you an engineer back in the day?
No.
No, Stevie wasn't an engineer, but he's a music fanatic. So I mean, Keith Andis, the All Night, was that was the sequel to Last Night and Let Me Love You. I don't know. Yeah, so he had some real Keith Andis played on One Step Closer by Gavin, according to the interview. Yeah. I mean, he I actually did like his new album. I liked his sort of vocals. It was different. I know that, but I like the fact that they're making an effort with the albums. He doesn't need to do it, but he did it. And that's what I really appreciate about that. But it's hard. Can you imagine being a radio DJ, which you were, with all this new music, or when you get all this music to listen to because you need to do an interview or talk about it, I think it's hard to really appreciate music when you just have so much coming through. You've got to listen to it and on to the next one.
Just reminded me, actually, because we were talking about what he does. You know, when we talk about Tammy Lucas,
Yeah.
and she needed a producer, he could produce her, you know. I don't know how we'd arrange that, whether we could get them both on live to just go, Tammy, meet Keith, meet Tammy. She wants an, she's dying to get an album out. Can you do something? I don't know.
Yeah. Because
imagine if we tried to crowdfund an album for Tammy Lucas. I don't know. What would we raise? About 25 quid? I don't know. Would everyone put £1 in? And it'd be embarrassing, wouldn't it? You know, I just don't know. How much does she need for an album?
Well, that's the $1 million question. Yeah, what she needs, and I think it's somewhat tough when you've been trying to do it for a while and to really get back into it. I would wonder. I would think that if Teddy says, "Okay, fly over, let's quickly work on some music," and she'll probably get into it. But I will reach out to her, because I did tax her, you know, because she was, you know, I said people were willing to support with this, but they probably would need to know, you know, if you're telling us you need $5 grand, 10 grand, 20 grand, at least we know what the target is, and so people can put towards that. So I think that becomes a commitment side. So definitely would need her to think about that. But I know there were so many people who were willing to support. Yes. And actually, there is a possibility. There's an artist who I've interviewed who's a big fan of the show, who has a track that has been written, and they may be looking to do a competition for those who are producers to come up with. So the artist has the vocals for the track, and they may give what they'll look to do is do a competition to see who comes up with the best production with the vocals, and then that gets released with a video, and they can split the royalties 50-50, because they're coming up with the music while this artist has already written a track and already sung the vocals in there. But I think they just wanted to try and do something different. So that is something that we hopefully I'll be able to get clarity on, and then the artist will come forward and may open it up to anyone who's a producer and wants to get into the challenge. They'll have an email address where you can request the vocal files, and then you do the track and send it back, and they'll get a judging panel, and whoever wins, then they'll split the royalties, and then they'll shoot a video for that track. So that will be something that we'll be looking to do hopefully in a couple of weeks' time. So yes, so look out for that, especially if you're producing stuff. Yes, but anyway, Munilong had to do everything by herself. Maybe someone could hook up with Tam to give her advice. Yeah, you know what? I think that is definitely something that is probably going to be needed. I know that if somebody, sometimes I think she needs not a manager, but a sort of a coordinator who can, okay, what's going on? Let's do all the connections so she can focus on the doing her part and then line the dots. I may ask Sheldon. Because I know
the other one is the other area you could go down, but then again, he's doing Jackie McGee, he's Father MC, and Jimmy, and what's he called? Jimmy, your guy Uptown,
Jimmy Jenkins.
That media thing that Father MC's got, but then again, they're working on the Jackie McGee album, aren't they?
Yes,
so probably it'd be hard to suddenly just start doing a Tammy Lucas album. I don't,
Yeah, but Tammy's been very, she talks a lot about trust, and remember she she was supposed to be part. She was signed to Uptown to be part of the Girls, but she didn't. The contracts, she looked at the contract.
Listen, I think the best idea we've got of this, right, is Keith Andes, Tammy Lucas, and we all halftime chat. If we could all, I don't know, do a crowdfund, throw something in the kitty. Let's get them let's maybe discuss it one Sunday evening. See if we can get all the members to, I don't know. I know it's a big ass. Even if you all donate $10 each, I don't know how, let's get where we can give some money to pay the producer. I don't know.
Yeah.
Tracks or just something.
Yeah, I mean, I
cost $5-10 grand to make an album. You're looking at a couple of $1,000, I think.
Yeah, it definitely will be the producer's fee, because the producer will say for their time, the engineer, and then they do the mastering and stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, I will have a word with Tammy just to see where she's at with that, and seeing how how we can, that people are willing to support with that, because Tammy writes. She comes up with verses and stuff like that. She just needs to hear the music.
I bet she's already got. She virtually said in the interview she's got an album's worth of material ready to go.
Yeah.
It's there. It's done.
Yeah.
So, like you say, that work is done. But I think Keith Andes would do the business. The production on the album. I mean, Keith Andes needs to work with a decent singer. That's what he needs. For me.
Yeah. Yeah, and
that, but
yeah,
but it's, I don't think that's a hard thing for it. I don't think that's the hardest part. I think the hardest part is what you do when it's finished. The hardest part is how do you get it out? Get it out there and sell it to people.
But you know what? I think there's a market for a Tammy Lucas album. I think there's enough people who would probably say, "Oh, okay, yeah, we finally got that album." I don't know how many people would say, "Oh, we wish Teddy had something on this," but I think vocally, just Tammy, so putting her vocals on something would definitely be something. And I'm sure if it comes out, and Teddy would always say, "Oh, I need to jump on this," because he wouldn't want to not jump. She actually has tracks that Teddy produced for her album that she probably could just re-release alongside of it as well.
Listen, you're in, look at who is on your friends list now. You've got Tim and Bob.
Yeah, so Tim would,
we could list. We've got 10 producers here that have been on Halftime Chat. They could just, we could just ask as a favour. Can we have one track off you each? One production off you each for a Tammy Lucas album. I mean, the album would be all over the place. You'd have a Dark Child produced track, you'd have a Tim and Bob, you'd have a Keith Andes, you'd have a Teddy Riley. What producers have we had on the channel?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We could get Timmy Gatlin to produce. It'd be all over the place, but it'd be a Halftime Chat dream album, wouldn't it?
Yeah, definitely would be. Yeah. And actually, Tim has said that there's so many tracks that they did that never got released.
There you go.
Tracks they produced for Brandy.
Mucho, we'll get Mucho back on.
Yeah, Mucho back on. Sprague.
That's what I mean. It'd be a dream album.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I mean, as I said, I'll follow up with her just to see what's going on. How if she wants to move forward with stuff like that. Because I think,
in fact, right, it's even giving me a bit of. If we could plan, like, just don't tell them anything. Let's get them all on a live, or on a Zoom meeting. As many for one each. Just get them. Just say, look, can you please? It's really important. Can you, reach out to them all, get them on a. You got Tammy Lucas there, and you got Tim and Bob there. You got, I don't know, Keith Andes. You got them all listed, and just say, look, this is what we've got you here for. Got this young lady here who you've probably heard of, who's desperate. All she wants is an album to come out. She just wants her own album. Can we all have one track off you each, please? And let's get an album put out. You know,
yeah.
And maybe we can, through the halftime chat members or channel watchers, we can raise a crowd fund to promote it, a budget to just like promote the album. You know, we can all be in on it. It's a crazy idea.
Yeah. It would be an interesting thing, just doing just going back and doing just seeing how you can start a project like that, because it's Mooney was writing for lots of people like Tammy, and but she did herself, and now she's me along, where she's now got the still #1 single on the R&B charts. So it's not impossible. I guess it's just getting just organizing it and stuff. So well, I'll reach out to Tammy and just see where she's at, see if she's cool with it. This July, I know Damien Hall's about to come out with his new album just before his birthday, and Mr. Dalvin, he's coming out with another EP album as well. So it looks like the summer people are thinking about just trying to do some new stuff. So it'll be interesting to see. But anyway, and then the Queens of R&B tour. If you guys are in the US, Escape.
Let's save the rest for Sunday evening anyway. Let's save the rest for Sunday evening.
Yeah. So guys, we appreciate you tracking us down and joining us. This was as you can notice, I took away my virtual background, and all of a sudden my picture's gone clear. So I'm going to change my laptop next time and see if it makes a difference. But this was I just got in touch with Steve about 30 minutes before this went live to see if he was okay to join me on and stuff like that. And he graced me with his time, and you guys came on board just to hang out.
Why you've been watching? Like we've managed to A&R new. We've got an A&R new Tammy Lucas. Who thought that would come out of this?
Tammy Lucas album.
Tammy Lucas while we're here.
Yeah, but join us live on Sunday. We're going through the Forever My Lady album, ranking our top 10. That's actually been hard for me, because between the ballads and the New Jack Swing, I'm not sure which side I feel that's stronger for me. Starting on Monday, Tim Kelly from Tim and Bob. You may think, oh, we just heard from Bob. Yeah, but Tim came with a different energy. So you're going to hear some things that Bob didn't share, and he things that he really expanded. And what else is there now? I think, Keith Anders finishes. Joyce Sims on Saturday. Her last interview before she sadly passed away. She was a magnificent woman. And yes, it's going to be the R&B group Shades, if everyone remembers them, from Motown Records. They're going to be coming on as well. So there's still a lot. And Joyce Irby from Climax as well. So lots to look forward to. But anyway, Stevie, Sheldon, and I will see you on Sunday. Jodeci, 9 p.m. UK time, 4 p.m. Eastern time. And
get your top 10 Jodeci's ready.
Yeah,
get
Forever My Lady. So not the Forever My Lady.
Forever My Lady. Get your top 10 ready. And we'll have a great weekend, folks. We'll see you there.